Okay. Let's see how we're doing. How we're doing. Hello, everybody. Here we are. Is it working? All right, here we go. Whoo, hello, everybody. Hello, hi, June. Hi, Frank. We're in the tube. Karen, Kristen, hello. I just found you on Blue Sky. Yay. Ria, hello. Laura, Chris, welcome. Good to see you all. Lee, oh my gosh, everyone. Kaya, hi there. Sue Storm, hello. So we'll just wait just a couple minutes, everyone, to kind of get everybody on and sorted out here. It always takes a few minutes to get everything put together over here. Here we go again. Yep, there's that. Oh my gosh, how's everybody doing? Yes, I'm definitely going to be doing a live stream once a week on my YouTube. I can say that all I want over here. YouTube. Just once a week. I still need to figure out my schedule, but I'm definitely going to be over here once a week for sure. Yes. Your super chat. Oh no, is it not on? Is my super chat not on? Oh dear. Well, we'll get it next time. Election canvas continues. Oh yeah, my goodness. We still have a lot. There's still a lot going on here. Let me make sure to come here tonight. Oh, was that helpful, Laura? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, the time difference. Oh, I know, everybody. I know. We're getting there. Nail cam. I got purple tonight and a little black kitty. So I thought that would be very fun. Found me on Blue Sky. Good. I love it. Wow, Blue Sky was hot potato today, everyone. They said they've gotten almost 1 million people just today. So it is making the rounds. I'm loving that. Oh, purple. Yeah, purple's great. I just saw the video. Yes. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm trying to get everybody, and we got a couple different places. Although I'll tell you, the one place that's not picking up is the Gram. There's no traction on the Gram. The Gram, it has been, yeah. So the Gram's not going to be doing it. I like the notification on YouTube. Yeah, I think that works really well. I think it works a lot. There's a lot of things over here that I think are so much better, which are much nicer, and especially some of our more controversial chapters. Like, there's no way I could do the Department of Defense over there. In fact, those 3 words together gets me a community guidelines violation. So I was like, well, I appealed, and they're like, nope. So yikes, I don't even want to deal with that right now. So never had Twitter or X. I'll have to figure it out. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Crickets on the Gram. Yep, that's a great way to put it. Yep. Yeah, Blue Sky is like Twitter, but it doesn't have the, I guess it's not been inundated by the badness yet. So I'm hoping it stays there. Actually, it's been up and running for over a year from what I hear. I guess the youngins know about it, the super youngins, but I have not. Oh, a girl in her brushes, welcome. I'm glad to see you. I've been flagged twice this week on the top. Oh, I know. Oh, Kristen, I know. It's really getting ridiculous, everybody. Now, remember, too, we are waiting for that Court of Appeals case. Well, is it Court of Appeals? DC Circuit case. I think actually we're not at an appellate point, but we're waiting for their decision. They'd had arguments already. And so sometime, hopefully, we'll be able to have it. It doesn't have Elon. That's all you need to know. Oh, hello, Alice. Oh, I'm glad you made it over. What's your handle on Blue Sky? Okay, everyone. So this has been a bit controversial, and I didn't realize it when I made the post earlier, and I wish I could go back in time, but alas, we cannot go back in time. But so here's my handle over there. They do not have the underscore capability, so I can't do the underscore that I have on the talk here. So it's a hyphen here. All right, so I'm gonna put it here. See, that's probably not very good because I wrote too big, everybody. I'm on the struggle bus today. I don't know who else is, but I am definitely on the struggle bus. Let's see if we can do this. So hyphen, there we go. I think we got it that time. We made it. Oh my gosh. The nutcases. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you, Kristen. I followed you on Blue Sky. Wonderful, wonderful. I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Yeah, it is kind of like, again, it is a bit like Twitter, but, you know, I won't feel bad if Elon stays out. I won't either. Oh my gosh, the super young lady. No, no. Oh my gosh, everybody. You know something that just hit me today? It was, and I didn't post about it because it wouldn't be appropriate, but if you think about it, and I'm sure, you know, we're all thinking about it. So we have a, you know, an SAer in the White House, right? SAer in the White House, 2 SAers on the US Supreme Court. And then we have, you know, I mean, Gates, who I guess resigned, but just imagine how many SAers there are in the Congress. So they have taken, not taken over, but they have infiltrated all 3 levels of government, have SAers in it. And before, at least we didn't know. At least we could plead ignorance. But that's something that just hit me today. I'm like, wow, they really like those kinds of people, I guess. Kept putting an underscore. Oh, I know. What is the time frame process for confirmation on any cabinet nominations? Yeah, I don't really know how that's going to run yet. We're still kind of figuring that out. Report gets out. Yeah, he resigned from the House, so right, off he goes. But I'm sure, I mean, I can't believe for 1 minute we don't have any SAers that are in Congress. So what, oh yeah, exactly. Ugh, it's really, yikes. I think SAing is making a comeback, although honestly, to be honest with you all, I don't think it ever really went away. I think now we're definitely putting a highlight on it, so. Hello, Mariah. Hello, Navy Vet. Good to see you. Carrie, hello. Welcome. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this time, you know, the resistance feels a little bit different. I don't know if anyone's noticed this or not, but the resistance feels a lot angrier this time. I'm looking at the people who are starting to put it together and checking in their spaces, and like, people are mad. This isn't just like a whoopsie-doo. This is like, we're pissed off. And I am here for it. I am absolutely here for it. Oh my goodness gracious. Trying to get a recess appointment. Yes, we can avoid that. Yeah, and you know, again, you have to keep in mind though, with recess appointments, if that were to happen, everyone, for just a moment, I want you to, first of all, just take a breath. That's what I have to do before I even get into it. I'm like, okay, let's do this. But, you know, with the Senate, the way that it is right now, I think it would be, and again, the confirmations should be with the, once we go back in January. We're not going to have any confirmations at the moment, it's my understanding, but yeah, the Republicans are in the Senate, right? So what's going to happen here is there's going to be a split in the Republicans, as we already know, because of the messages he's been sending out and such. So really, again, we've seen even when really crappy people come in and sit for those Senate hearings, they still put crappy people in, right? It's just we can actually see the crappy people talk about their crappy views and stuff. So there's that. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Let's see. Can the police get a hold of the results of the Gates report or evidence, because those were serious accusations? Great point. And I tell you what, I mean, I've even gone through the indictment where his friend was indicted. He had 6 counts. and information about Gates was included in that. I mean, they kind of danced around it, but yeah, I mean, the House ethics looking into that. Again, there should be actual law enforcement that has looked into it and has gone in and investigated. But yeah, I mean, if law enforcement suspects there to be a crime, it's their duty to go and investigate. But whether or not that's happening, we just don't know at this point. Yep, yep. Yeah. So, oh no, you can't find me on the blue sky. I don't know. It's been weird. I tell you what, though, I joined this morning, and there have been a few times when I've logged on, and it has said that even I don't have an account. And so if I wait 10 minutes and go back in, then my account pops up again. So there's been some kind of tech problems, I think, going on with the number of people that joined today. Again, they're setting a record. They said they've had about 1 million people join just today. So I'm wondering if it's their system on that. You found me, yay! Glad to hear it. Yes, yay! Oh, I'm so glad. So Thomas. Oh, hello. Okay. I see you. Yeah, it's a little bit different when we have a little bit different names over here and so on. So we'll see. Yeah. It's gonna be a hyphen instead of underscore. Man, that's really tripping me up. I hadn't thought about that when I created the name. So my goodness gracious. Are you on Threads? I'm not on Threads yet. I've thought about it, but I tell you, I can barely keep up with the tube of you. Unfortunately, I can't even keep my schedule going here, but I want to. So at this point, I'm starting to pull back. You may have noticed I'm starting to pull back on my posts on TikTok a little bit. I'm not posting as much for the short content. I am still posting, don't get me wrong, and I'm still doing lives over there, of course, and I've got to get a subscriber only movie night in still, everyone. It's on my to-do list, but I'm just not posting quite as much, only because right now a lot of people are needing to turn their comments off or hiding their posts, so there's been some problems. We're still kind of waiting for things to thin out a little bit over there. So do you believe it will be banned? That's TikTok. I'm struggling because I can't see how they can connect all of the dots to make it constitutional to do what they're saying that they can do. They're relying on prior situations and saying, well, we were able to do this and this and this. But those other situations where they said, hey, you need to sell to a friendly or we're not going to have you, none of those really dealt with free speech. So those other businesses where they said that to weren't free speech businesses. So this is really a unique situation, asking them being like, hey, sell it to a friendly or we're not going to have it, because it truly is a strike against First Amendment freedom of speech. So I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I'm not sure at this point. Canada's banning. Yes. Well, some places have banned for sure. Right. Yeah, and the real thing about TikTok is that it's just so easily accessible. It seems, it's just everybody can hop on. It's really user friendly, and it's easy to figure out. So that's something where we're all trying to figure out another platform that we can go to, and we have several different options, but it really is, it's very user friendly. So we'll see what happens. All right. Thank you for your perspective. You are one of the, oh, well, hey, I'm here, Carrie. I am certainly here. I'll be here. I'm in for the long haul. I got my sleeves rolled up, although not tonight. All right, everybody. So it wasn't banned, but the way that they put it, Virginia, was they said that they couldn't have any kind of association with China. And if they weren't, they will have to sell it so that China doesn't have any kind of, anything to do with it, or they can't do business in the country. So that's controversial. Is talking to Iran. No, I'm not surprised. Elon does a lot of talking. And, I think it's so ironic here that we have a situation where they're like, you're one of us, Mr. Red Hat. And then, like, the richest man in the world is like his bestie right now. Like, come on, people. Come on. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Everybody, duck and cover. All right, let's go ahead and start diving in here a little bit. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this on YouTube, and I will, again, everyone, I will be live streaming once a week on YouTube. It's kind of a moving target, which day it will be, and I apologize for that. But I'll do the best I can here. But I do want to go ahead and do Homeland Security tonight, and that is not something that is friendly enough or in a situation where I can do it over on TikTok. So I really have to be careful right now because the reporting situation is really getting out of control with the trolls. So this works perfectly over here. So let's get into it. Everybody remembers what Project 2025 is, the manifesto. I have been starting to go through it again and doing some lives, taking you through what the actual information is. And kind of pointing out what is obviously unconstitutional and obviously outside the powers of the president. So those are a couple of things. I'm trying to make sure that everybody understands. Really a company under TikTok's umbrella, like a lot of companies. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. All right, so here we go. I've got one eye on my chat over here, but I will be focusing primarily on taking you through this information, everyone. So if I miss a comment, I apologize. It's kind of back and forth here. So it's a little bit different for me too over here, but whatever it is, I like it. I like it over here. So here we go, Department of Homeland Security, and this is by Ken Cuccinelli. I don't know, Cuccinelli, whatever. And we've got primary recommendation here. So I will read verbatim the first intro piece, and then we'll kind of skim through it and look at what the highlights are. So our primary recommendation is that the president pursue legislation to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. Did everybody realize that? We're dismantling it. There are going to be some highlights in here to oversized sleeves. Yeah. There's a few keywords to always look at as we go through Project 2025. If there is anything like this saying pursue legislation, we're looking at he's going to have to go through Congress. This is not going to be an executive order. This isn't going to be some kind of weird charter that only belongs to the president. It means if he wants to make any of these changes, he will have to go through Congress. And friendly reminder again, although the majority is looking pretty red, it is slim. It is a very slim majority, and a lot of those red actors or people in the red there are very frustrated and upset and are against a lot of stuff. So, reading the chapter but forgot what goofy name they decided. I know. All right, so we're trying to dismantle the Homeland Security, DHS. After 20 years, it has not gelled into one DHS. Instead, its various components, different missions have outweighed its decades-long attempt to function as one department, rendering the whole disjointed rather than cohesive. Breaking up the department along its mission lines would facilitate mission focus and provide opportunities to reduce overhead and achieve more limited government. In lieu of the status quo, DHS, we recommend that, and then we'll go through what they are suggesting here. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol be combined with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, U.S. CIS, and the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Refugee Resettlement, and the Department of Justice, Executive Office for Immigration Review, and Office of Immigration Litigation into a standalone border and immigration agency at the cabinet level. So this is something, again, they're going to have to get this approved, but very similar to The Department of Education doing away with that, but what they're wanting then is to have a special new cabinet position created just for immigration. So again, congressional assistance will be needed there. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, be moved to the Department of Transportation. So that's the suggestion. And the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, would be moved to the Department of the Interior if combined with CISA to the Department of Transportation. The U.S. Coast Guard to be moved to the Department of Justice in time of full-scale war threatening the homeland to the Department of Defense. Alternatively, the Coast Guard should be moved to the Department of Defense for all purposes. So this doesn't make sense. Where are we going? Department of Justice or Department of Defense? Either way, that's where they want the Coast Guard to go. Because that makes sense somehow. I know, 0 cents. I know. There's going to be a lot of that here, everyone. The U.S. Secret Service be divided in two, with the protective elements moved to the Department of Justice and the financial enforcement element moved to the Department of the Treasury. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, would be privatized. The Science and Technology Directorate be moved to the Department of Defense, and the Office of Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction be moved to the FBI. Because, right? Yikes. All of the remaining supporting components could be dismantled because their function already exists in the moving components as well as the receiving departments. Cutting these costs would save the American taxpayers significant sums. Unless and until this dismantling recommendation is pursued and achieved, however, DHS will statutorily continue to exist, meaning that Congress is going to have to change. And I mean, think about that for just a minute. We've got all those people. I mean, if you think about who's in Congress, we really have to think about how many of the Republicans would like to get away or would like to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security. That's kind of something that we can chew on for a little bit. Yeah, the FBI, I agree. All right. Mission statement. The Department of Homeland Security protects the American homeland from and prepares for terrorism and other hazards in both the physical and cyber realms, provide for secure and free movement of trade and travel, and enforces U.S. immigration laws impartially. So Homeland Security isn't just for threats from abroad, but also threats at home as well. Overview. The Department of Homeland Security was created in the aftermath of the attacks on September 11th and subsequent mailings of spores. The Homeland Security Act of 2002, which created the department, states that DHS's primary mission is to prevent T attacks within the U.S., reduce the nation's vulnerability to terrorism, minimize the damage from and assist in the recovery from T attacks, prepare and respond to natural and man-made crises and emergencies, and monitor connections between illegal trafficking and terrorism, coordinate efforts to sever such connections and interdict illegal trafficking. So that's interesting, isn't it? I think that's very interesting. How is that cutting costs? They're just moving things around. Ria, I think that's a really good point. The other thing too, which I would remind everybody about with the Department of Education, is they're trying to break up the Department of Education and spread it around again to places that they already have. So the only way I think that they're going to try to save money, in my opinion, is that they're going to basically get rid of everybody working in that department and then double, triple, quadruple the workloads for people in the other areas that they're moving things to. So they're just going to start stacking all of this, which is what, a lot of corporate, jerks do. They're like, man, I'm going to cut this department and just give everybody else more work, no more pay, just more work. So there's that. That's my opinion. All right. Unfortunately for our nation, the federal government's newest department became like every other federal agency, bloated, bureaucratic, and expensive. It also lost sight of its mission priorities. DHS has also suffered from the left's wokeness and weaponization against Americans, whom the left perceives as its political opponents. To truly secure the homeland, a conservative administration needs to return the department to the right mission, the right size, and the right budget. This would include reorganizing the department and shifting significant resources away from several supporting components to the essential operational components, prioritizing border security and immigration enforcement, including detention and deportation, is critical if we are to regain control of the border, repair the historic damage done by the Biden administration, return to a lawful and orderly immigration system. We mean return. I don't think we've ever had that. And protect the homeland from terrorism and public safety threats. This also includes consolidating the pieces of the fragmented immigration system into one agency to fulfill the mission more efficiently. So spread everything around to all of the other departments, but create a brand new department for immigration. That's what they're trying to do here. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency is a DHS component that the left has weaponized to censor speech and after elections at the expense and affect elections at the expense of securing the cyber domain and critical infrastructure, which are threatened daily. A conservative administration should return CISA to its statutory and important but narrow mission. The bloated DHS bureaucracy and budget, along with the wrong priorities, provide real opportunities for a conservative administration to cut billions in spending and limit government's role in Americans' lives. These opportunities include privatizing TSA screening and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, National Flood Insurance Program, reforming FEMA emergency spending to shift the majority of preparedness and response costs to the states. So the states need to take care of their own emergencies and localities instead of the federal government, eliminating most of DHS's grant programs. So that's nice. These guys are such jerks. And removing all unions in the Department for National Security purposes. A successful DHS would secure and control the border, thoroughly enforce immigration laws, correctly and efficiently adjudicate immigration benefit applications while rejecting fraudulent claims, secure the cyber domain and collaborate with critical infrastructure sectors to maintain their security, provide states and localities with a limited federal emergency response and preparedness. How are you going to protect it? Yeah, great question. Yeah, nobody gets help anymore. I wonder who wants to take over TSA. Well, that's a great question. It's got to be one of his friends' companies, right? Next, secure our coasts in economic zones, protect political leaders, their families, and visiting heads of state or government, and oversee transportation security. I'm not sure about that. Pass the bipartisanship. Yeah. Yeah. So, Office of the Secretary, SEC. So let's take a look here. Because now that we're starting to see some people that he's picking for his cabinet, we can go ahead and go into some of these as well. In the next administration, the Office of the Secretary should take on the following key issues and challenges to ensure the effective operation of DHS. So let's just remember here, this is what he's wanting to do. So let's grab, there we go, let's grab a highlighter. All right, first, expansion of dedicated political personnel. The Secretary of Homeland Security is a presidentially appointed and Senate-confirmed political appointee, but for budgetary reasons, he or she has historically been unable to fund a dedicated team of political appointees. A key step for the Secretary to improve front office function is to have his or her own dedicated team of political appointees selected and vetted by the Office of the President or Office of Presidential Personnel, which is not relying on the detainees from other parts of the department to help ensure the completion of the next president's agenda. So we're going to get rid of federal employees and then just put in political appointees. All right. An aggressive approach to Senate-confirmed leadership positions. While the Senate confirmation is a constitutionally necessary requirement for appointing agency leadership, the next administration may need to take a novel approach to the confirmation process to ensure an adequate and rapid transition. For example, the next administration arguably should place its nominees for key positions into similar positions as acting. For example, putting in a person to serve as the senior officer official performing the duties of the commissioner or CBP while that person is going through the confirmation process to direct ICE or become the secretary. This approach would both guarantee implementation of the day one agenda and equip the department for potential emergency situations while still honoring the confirmation requirement. The department should also look to remove lower level but nevertheless important positions that currently require Senate confirmation from the confirmation requirement, although this effort would require legislation. So, again, you got to do it with Congress uh, here. Require legislation there, and might also be mooted in the event the legislature that closes portions of the department that currently have Senate confirmed leadership. All right, so clear, more durable, and political only line succession. Based on the previous experience, the department needs legislation, again, need Congress, to establish a more durable but politically oriented line of succession for agency decision-making purposes. The ideal sequence for a line of succession is certainly debatable, except that in the circumstance where a career employee holds a leadership position in the department, that position should be deemed vacant for line of succession purposes, and the next eligible political appointee in sequence should assume acting authority. Further, individuals wielding acting secretary authority should have explicit authority to finalize agency action, including regulations, to ensure that the department's Homeland Security mission is fulfilled. That means Congress would need to move the money. And then the Dems say no. Right. Well, and also, the requirements, when they put these agencies together, the requirements and the structure are set out by statute. So you'd have to change the statute. Soft closure of unnecessary offices. Pending a possible presidential decision to shrink or eliminate DHS itself, the next administration will still have the obligation to protect the homeland as required by law. The secretary, therefore, can and should use his or her inherent discretionary leadership authority to soft close ineffective and problematic corners of the department. While those corners are to be determined, the secretary could shift personnel, funding, and operational responsibility to mission essential components of the department, including the office of the secretary itself. The effort not only would make the department more efficient, but would also support a legislative move to shrink or dismantle the department. Again, a legislative move by showing the agency can fulfill national security critical functions without its current bloated bureaucracy. Cabinet doesn't know how it works. I know. I think that's going to slow them down. Restructuring and redistribution of career personnel. To strengthen the political decision making and ensure the taxpayer dollars are being used legally and efficiently, the secretary should make major changes in the distribution of career personnel throughout the department. For example, personnel from parts of the department undergoing soft closure could be redistributed to what will be workload intensive corners of the department, including national security, critical, and transparency functions. All personnel with law enforcement capacity should be removed immediately from office billets and deployed to field billets to maximize law enforcement capacity. All right, there's that. Compliance for grants and other federal funding. The next administration should take steps to restore lawfulness and integrity to the department's massive regimen of federal grant programs, most of which are managed and distributed by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The Secretary should direct FEMA to ensure that all FEMA-issued grant funding for states, localities, and private organizations is going to recipients who are lawful actors, can demonstrate that they're in compliance with federal law, and can show that their mission and actions support the broader Homeland Security mission. All applicants and potential recipients of such grant funding should be required to meet certain preconditions for eligibility, except for receipt of post disaster or non humanitarian funding, or should simply be considered ineligible for funding. Such preconditions should include at least the following: certification by applicants that they comply with all aspects of federal immigration laws, including the honoring of all immigration detainers. Certification by applicants that they are both registered with E-Verify and using E-Verify in a transparent and non-evasive manner for states and localities. That would include certification of all components of that government, not just the applicant agency, are registered with and use E-Verify. The applicant is a state or locality, commitment by that state or locality to total information sharing in the context of both federal law enforcement and immigration enforcement. This would include access to Department of Motor Vehicles and voter registration databases. Yep. This one I would say is going to be a violation of the federalism. The federalism. Yeah, I know. It is nice because there's no trolls. Non-use of discretionary guest worker visa authorities to stop facilitating the availability of cheap foreign labor in order to support American workers, particularly poor and middle-class American workers, and follow congressional intent. The Secretary should explicitly cease using at least two discretionary authorities as part of his or her broader effort to support American workers. The Secretary should make it clear that he or she will not use the Secretary's existing discretionary authority to increase the number of H-2B, seasonal non-agricultural visas, above the statutory set cap. The Secretary should not issue any regulation in support of the H-2 eligible country list, the effect of which would prevent favoring certain foreign nationals seeking an H-2 guest worker visa based simply on their nationality. Restoration of honesty and transparency. I know. I don't know, everybody. At this point, let me ask the chat here. We do have a wonderful group of people here, but I'm wondering if, and I hate to say it, but I'm wondering if we should pop back over to TikTok to get a few more people listening to what's happening here. What do we think? Can we vote on that? I apologize, but we just don't have the crowd. We don't have the numbers tonight. If I pop back over to TikTok and go through the Department of Homeland Security, I think these are important pieces for people to know. Yep, I say yes, I think so. Sure. Sub only. Well, yeah, Kristen, I'm trying to get some people. I'm just trying to educate people, the trolls. So let's do a sub chat. Let's do a sub chat only. So that will just keep it to the subscribers so the moderators don't get run over. Sure, yes. Okay, everybody. Well, let's do that. I think it's great for us to start over here, but I tell you what, I mean, I think this is so important. I'd like to get a few more people in. Sub only. Yep, sub only. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Thomas. All right. They can still listen. Yep. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We've been here for 40 minutes hanging out and having a good time. Yeah, we'll do sub chat only, Navy Vet, so people can just listen. Only comments from the subscribers then. So yeah, I think they'll stick around too. Okay, excellent, everybody. Well, thanks for coming. We did great. And I'm going to go ahead and get set up and head over to the talk so we can get this information out. I'll start from page 1. So I just think it's really important that people hear this. So catch you all over there. See you in just a minute. Bye, everybody.